This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the Clear Lines training session. I am your host, Kipp Cohen. It is Thursday, the 18th of April, 2019. This is a twice weekly training session every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern geared to help the subscribers to the Clear Lines indicator running on the Medved Trader platform. Also to answer your questions about Clear Lines and about Medved Trader for those of you that have interest in utilizing the platform with the indicator. This session is recorded and will be posted to the Equity-Alerts YouTube page for later review. For those of you that need to go back and rewatch or may have missed the live broadcast. Real quick before we get the ball rolling, again, my name is Kipp Cohen. I was a employee of WiseTrade for 17 years. And when finding out that WiseTrade was going to be closing down last year, I decided to develop my own indicator to be a replacement for the WiseTrade algorithm, WiseTrade buying and selling momentum charts. Due to time constraints and budgetary constraints, we found an ideal alternative, and that was to write an actual indicator that would run on a third-party platform. That third-party platform is Medved Trader. We have a very good relationship with the Medved guys. We're finding out that actually utilizing their platform for our indicator is turning out to be much more than we ever imagined. It's turning out to be just a blessing, a big blessing for us. And so those of you that are currently not subscribers and wishing to subscribe to the Clear Lines, you would do that at equity-alerts.com. Hold on just a second. You go to equity-alerts.com and there's a tab that says Clear Lines. You can get more information here about subscribing. Also, the link to our YouTube page is here as well. If you want to watch one of the prior videos. Oops, I need to edit the date on that one. Hold on. Yes, oh, that's not mine. That's Lindsay's. If you have additional questions specifically for me, you are welcome to send me an email, kip@equity-alerts.com. You're welcome to call me or text me at 972-841-8886 as well. So that's kind of a brief overview of everything. There is, in addition to, just to make sure you understand, those that wishing to subscribe to Clear Lines, there is a monthly fee to use the Clear Lines. Associated with that, you do get this twice weekly training session. You do get a one-on-one an initial setup session with me if you want that, and you get ongoing support from me. There is an additional fee of $19.99 a month for Medved Trader if you do not have a funded account with Ally Invest. If you have a trading account with Ally Invest, then that fee is waived. And if you do not have one of their integrated brokers like E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Ally Invest, or Interactive Brokers, there could be an additional fee for data. In other words, if you have an account with Fidelity or Schwab, you do have to get data from a third party, or open an account with one of the integrated brokers, and that'll save you that monthly fee. Okay, so, and all that information is on my Equity-Alerts website. All right, so I wanted to start today's session with covering something that actually occurred yesterday. I had one of my customers, Frank, that needed some assistance with something. He He wanted to be able to see which accounts he was in. Frank has multiple accounts with one broker, and he wanted to be able to know easily which was the right account he was in. So one of the things about the Medved Trader platform is when you go to the trading button or trading menu on the chart screen, you're going to see a drop down and you're going to see which account you're in. So one of the things is that it had this long deal. It said TD Ameritrade login, and then it had all his accounts, different named accounts. So one of the things that we did to make it easier for him is we went into the settings under trading and accounts. And for TD Ameritrade, we removed where it says under login nickname, we just changed it to TD. Okay. So then, and I could do the same thing. I can do, instead of saying Interactive Brokers Login, I could just say Interactive Brokers or IB. And so what that did is, for him, when he went to the trading button, see now, when he was in one of those accounts, he just saw, it just said TD and then the account name. He didn't see all the additional information, which helped him to know which account he's in. So one of the other things he had a concern about was, well, when he's trading, he wants to know how much funds he has available. And I explained to him, well, there's, obviously you can click your account view from right here, and you're going to see, if you have any open positions, you're going to see your account balances, you're going to get all that information. So what we decided that would make sense for him, and let me go to a different layout, so because this is going to make more sense when I go to a different layout. So let's go to let's click load layout. Let's go to a 6-chart layout, okay? Because he uses something similar. He uses an 8-chart layout, but we're going to use a 6-chart layout. So what we did is we removed one of the charts. So I'm going to remove this 30-minute chart right here. I'm going to make it go away. I'm going to slide this over. Okay, that's my historical monthly, and then I have my minutes. I have a 1, 3, 5, and a 15 here. So what we did is we opened up the account view. We moved that window here, and we adjusted it here. Whoops. Let me try that again. There you go. So now, and then you want to double click main. Okay. So now he can easily click through any one of his accounts and see what his balances are, how much available cash he has, what his positions are. He can quickly, at a glance, switch through those accounts. So this is something that for an individual that has multiple accounts, whether it's multiple brokers or for him, he has, he has a cash account, he has multiple IRAs, he has, account for his wife, they have a joint account. So, 6 or 7 different accounts. So he can quickly at a glance see that. So all you would need to do is, build your layout, and then, you want to save that new layout. So we'll call it, this would be a 5-chart layout with account view. Now, those of you that follow me during the day in my Equity Dash Alerts webinar, I keep when I'm on my popper dropper layout, you'll see that account view window is always open. So I actually have one that's already always open for my daily activity so I can see where I'm at. And I do think it's good to have a window. Where it makes sense is for those of you that see, like Frank only has one screen. He works off a single monitor. When you have multiple screens where you have, 3 or 4 monitors, then you can spread things out across the different windows so that you're not forcing yourself to just look at one view. So you don't see it, but normally when I'm on my account view, when I'm on my popper dropper layout, there are 2 additional charts and my account view open on the about a third of the one of my other monitors. So I actually work off of 4 monitors plus a laptop and an iPad. So one of my windows, my upper left window, is the actual equity alerts webinar window where we broadcast and message back and forth. The upper right, I have one of my accounts, which is with TradeStation. I tend to watch a couple things from there. I have a scanning tool that I use for the big movers, and then I also watch the S&P. And then on the bottom right window, again, a third of that is dedicated to, typically most days is dedicated to my Medved. And then I use Skype, and I have another web page open that's got my TD Ameritrade account and a couple other websites open. So, and then my laptop I use for social media, and my iPad I use just for whatever, nothing specific. But again, by having multiple monitors, it allows you to expand out your Medved Trader. And I know some people that have 4 monitors, they may have 2 or 3 pages full of charts on the Medved. And that's the great thing about the platform that we use, is that you have that ability to create custom layouts and to spread multiple charts out across multiple windows. But I wanted to cover that because it was something that Frank needed help with, and again, part of what I do with my clients of clear lines is I provide the ongoing support, customer support, technical support. So I use a remote access application. I call them up and I remotely log into their computer and then assist them with whatever they need help with. And so for those of you that have that aren't currently subscribing, that want to subscribe, that's again part of what you pay for. That $59 a month fee for my indicator includes the ongoing support that I provide and the ongoing training. But that is a cool little benefit cool thing that I do. Okay, so any specific questions at the moment that you might have for me? Any specific questions that you might have for me? Okay, so does this work on Ninja? No, it does not currently work with Ninja, Jim. So here's kind of I probably could make it available to Ninja on a subscription basis. I know I believe they have a marketplace for indicators. I do have intentions of making it available at some point through TradeStation as well. But right now, just our primary focus has been with our integration with Medved Trader, because we really like the platform and the ability to to do just so much with it. It would take some development time, and I'm open to doing something with Ninja. I just don't have the demand. That's the other thing. There hasn't been a big, you're probably one of the first people to ask me if it would work on Ninja. So could I make it available? Yeah, I'll have to talk to my one of my partners that is in the clear trading system. On Medved, do they have range charts? By range chart, what are you referring to? A range chart. I'm not familiar with. How do I change? Oh, okay. That'll be another question in just a second from Ron. I'm not familiar with range. They have different types of. So they have basically an intraday and a historical chart, and then they have different types, like, as far as, the type of candle, or, they have Heiken Ashi, they have Renko. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by range charts. But the platform, it does do a lot of things. Each interval has a set number of points on each interval. So each chart can be changed. You can adjust the time frequency on each chart from one of the preset or to a custom range from a sub-minute to, I don't even know how high you can go, but you can go way up there depending on how many minutes you want. And then you can adjust the range, custom range, as far as how far back in history you want to see. Yeah, you can do that on each chart. You can do a custom period. You can select one of the preset ranges, 50 bars, 100 bars, current day. So those ranges, yes, you can use. Hold on just a second. So, yeah, if you send an email to support@medvedtrader.com, if you have, further questions about their platform, you can email them directly, and they're pretty quick to respond. Hold on one second. So next question was from Ron about how do you change the candle color to Stevens black and red candles. So actually, this was something I wanted to cover next, was using Heiken Ashi. And this was something I tested early on, and now Stephen Bilby, who's with us on our Equity Alerts webinar, this is something he's started testing. So I'm actually gonna go to a layout that he created. It is the Heiken Ashi with clear lines. Okay. So what he did basically is, under the candle, he added Heiken Ashi. And what that basically does is Heiken Ashi kind of smooths things out, candlesticks. It also smooths out a little bit on the clear lines. It does make the indicator, I think, a tad bit slower, but it does smooth it out. So one of the things, like my layout, I have hollow candles, okay? So one of the questions is how do I make them solid, you know, uh, Ron wants to know how to make them black and red candles. So all you have to do is go to your settings, okay, from the dashboard or up at the top from your index window under File, and then go to Charts and then Display. So right here, I have hollow candles selected. You unselect hollow candles. So when I apply that, you'll notice that the candles are red and black. That's what Steven selected. You can also select outline candles. That'll make them a little bit thicker, I believe, and then thick wicks. So that's where you make that adjustment. Now, remember that okay, it is going to it's going to change it when you go back to one of your other charts. It's going to look like this. It's going to be the full candles. Like if I go back to my 2-chart layout, my candles are going to look different now because I've changed them to solid candles, right? So realize that when you readjust the candle style, that goes across the board. That goes through the full layout, all your layouts. Again, so I'm going to go back to my display, and I'm not going to outline, and I'm going to use hollow candles. And then hit apply. Let's see. So the coloring, I believe that he did was part of his layout. The actual so he created under color set. Actually, he used one of the preset, which was sunny. So there are different color sets built into Medved. So the system default, this is the system default. This is the pure, deep, easy, night. I don't really notice a difference there. The sunny, ocean, and I don't know what, print. I guess for printing. That's so even with Steven's layout, if you don't like that, you can go to your, like I have my Kipp custom, so I can change his across the board to my Kipp custom, and then I don't have to use his color palette, basically. But what I need to do is I would need to resave the layout. Once you make a change like that, you have to go back in, because if I go load another layout now, and then I go back to that layout because I didn't save it, it's going to go back to Steven's original layout. Okay. Just depends on if you want to use that or not. I mean, I'm going to leave it because that's the way Steven created it. So I don't mind, doing that. So let's go back talking about. So on each of his charts, you'll notice under type, he has Heiken Ashi. It is an Heiken Ashi chart. It's not checked. Yeah, there it is. It is a Heiken Ashi chart. So again, Heiken Ashi does smooth things out a little bit. Actually, I think his layouts, isn't it a 3, 5, and 15, not a 1, 5, 15? I think it's a 3, 5, and 15. I can't remember, or it could be a 1. I prefer using like a 1, 3, and a 5, but Steven and I trade a little differently. But it does what I think so even though it might get you in a little bit late, what it does is it will help you stick with the trade a little bit longer. It keeps you in the trade for a little extended period. So there are some good things with using the Heiken Ashi. It's going to probably get you in just a little bit later because of the smoothing and the fact that it does change the clear lines a little bit. Just understand that it does create that. But again, I think it keeps you in, like here's a great example. Here was we got the up arrow. Here's a 3 minute. There's the up arrow on the 1 minute. And that was actually, you go back further here. So that was at 12, right around 12:15. You had your first arrow on the 3, excuse me. And then you had another one. So it did pull back and then take off, but by following these bigger time frames, that may have kept you in this apple a little bit longer. So Scott wants to know, how do you load Steven's layout? So what you'll need to do is actually, you'll have to go into the Equity Alerts website, or go to the Equity Alerts Webinauto player, the webinar player, on the bottom right corner of the Webinauto player, and I'll show you real quick. Hold on. There is right on the bottom corner, there's a little file folder. When you click on that, there are some files you can download. And right here, you're going to see it says Heiken Ashi with clear lines. If you check that, and I believe, or if you click on it, it'll download it to your computer. It'll download it to your computer. And then you're going to have to save the layout. Once you've downloaded it, make sure you save it. Here's something that's real important that you need to know about using that layout. What it's going to do is it's going to change a couple things. Your indexes, it's going to probably show TD Ameritrade. If you don't have a TD Ameritrade account, you need to shift that to whatever your broker is or your data feed is. You're going to need to do that on this window as well. And then on your watch list, whatever watch list you have, you're going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have to go in under the main and make sure you're in the right source, because it's going to bring in his account. It was saved for TD Ameritrade. So no, you're going to have to probably adjust those two things and then resave the layout. Now, the other thing, you can do this with one of your own existing layouts. You don't necessarily have to use Steven's layout. You could take one of your existing layouts, and let me show you how to do this. And let's just use, let's go to load layout. Let's use a 3-chart layout. This is one that I created a while back. It's just a random layout. It's got a 1, 3, and 5 minute. So if I want to switch this to Heiken Ashi, all I have to do is go on each chart to main and select Heiken Ashi. Each chart under candle type, Heiken Ashi. Heiken Ashi. So now I have my chart using Heiken Ashi. That's all you really have to do. You don't necessarily, I mean, unless you want to use specifically that layout that Stephen created, but you can create your own. You don't necessarily have to utilize his layout. You could take one of your own and just add the Heiken Ashi to it. But again, realize that there is a smoothing with Heiken Ashi. So it does affect the clear lines. It does cause them to be a little more lagging. So I don't mind doing that, and I'm testing right now to see if there's some advantage to it. I think you've got to go with a little shorter time frames, 1, 3, and 5 versus I think he's 5, 3, 5, 15, I think is what he's using. But you can add Heiken Ashi to any chart and test that out. Again, I think you need to test it and see if it makes sense for you, because it is a little bit of an adjustment. Again, I think it's good for keeping you in a trade a little bit longer because of the way it functions. You might not get faked out or head faked, and you'll see that on probably a bigger time frame like a 3 or 5 minute. But let's follow Apple here. Okay, so Apple right now looks a little toppy, right? And I'm going to go to a 15-minute time frame. I'm going to fib it just to fib the first 15. So I'm going to add in a couple other indicators that I'm liking right now. I do like the DMARC pivots and the Fibonacci pivots. So I don't see anything currently on right here that changes anything. So but looking at Apple, does it look toppy? It does look toppy. You've got a top here across the 1 minute. You've got tops across the 3 and the 5 minute. It's not there yet. It's still pointing up on the 3 minute. Markets are kind of pushing up right now. So let's compare this with and without Heiken Ashi and see. Yeah, see, it's actually curving back up right now. The clear line's curved up. So they're a little faster, I think, without Heiken Ashi. Nope, we're about to break out. So this would probably not be a good spot. At least not yet. Also depends on what, if we're using what data we're using, because that if we're using always for extended data. Yeah, actually, it looks like we're going to break out here on Apple. Actually, could be a long trade on a breakout. Not that I'd want to do that at this time of the day, but might actually break out here. You see on the 5 minutes starting to break through that top. 3 minutes trying to break it. 1 minute starting to break out. Hold on 1 second. Oh, 1 second, guys. Okay. Oh, now it's coming back down. So that might have been a fake out. Oh, look at that rollover. Here, let's try a little short here. Well, it's come down pretty quick, though. Might be a little late. That was a pretty big drop. Actually, it should have been short up around 240 204 when it broke. Anyway, but we've got confirmation. We got a 1 minute arrow. We've got a 3 minute down arrow, and not quite a 5 yet. The confirmation of the 5 would definitely be a lot more helpful. Ron says again, how do I add Steven's layout to my current layout for another monitor? You would need to load the layout from download it from the Webinato from Equity Alerts website, or from the webinar. So again, down in the bottom right corner, there's a file folder, and you'll have to click on the Heiken Ashi download right here, and that'll put it on your computer, and then you'll have to save that layout. Ron, if you need some assistance, let me know. Send me an email, and I can help you out. Just remember, it's going to change some settings on your watch list and on your portfolio watch list. So there's some things you're going to have to readjust. But the simple way is just to, on your charts, just turn on the Heiken Ashi if you want to try it out. All right, so that's kind of the whole Heiken Ashi deal that we're testing right now. Again, if you have any questions about it outside of here, you're welcome to send me an email, kipp@equity-alerts.com, and if you need help with it, I'm happy to help you out. Any other specific questions today about Medved or about clear lines or anything else any of you would like for me to cover today? So let me turn off the Heiken Ashi and see what kind of difference it makes. See, like now we have a 5-minute arrow. We didn't have that before on the Heiken Ashi. So it does lag things a little bit. So I don't, again, I'm not sure how sold I am on it. I think for once you get in a trade, it might make sense to flip over to it to keep you, maybe help you stick with it a little bit longer. But the actual getting in the trade, it may cause it to lag your entry just a little bit, which may not be a bad thing. I mean, here's the deal. You're never going to get in at the top and out the bottom. The idea is try to catch a chunk of the middle. And if using it, helps basically, helps you for getting a more accurate entry, then it's worth it. I don't have enough proof and test to determine. I mean, that 1 minute looks pretty good. That 3 minutes looking good. The 5 is okay. I'm concerned that we don't have an arrow yet on the 5. We actually had one back here, and then it went back to green. We just haven't built the second arrow down yet. And it looks like we've been kind of bouncing. Here's a little double bottom right here. It doesn't want to get below that. So this may have been a little, I think I was a little late on my entry point. I guess I should put a stop in, huh? I do like, if there was a lot more time left in the day, I do like where VWAP is. Whoops. That would have made it for a good little trade there. But I don't think there's enough time in the day for it to could get there. If we get a quick sell off right here at the end of the day, it might drop 50 cents. Don't forget markets are closed tomorrow also. So, Ron, you cannot have two different layouts open at once. You can only have one layout open at a time. So now what you could do is you could create one layout that has both Stevens charts in it and other charts. So I'm going to show you real quick I kind of did that this morning using my, let me close this out real quick. Hold on. I don't want to leave this going. So I'm going to go to my, I'll show you what you could do. Now, you would need more. I'm going to do this on one monitor. You could do this on two different monitors. I'm going to use my popper dropper layout just as an example. So what I could do is I could run Apple. So the top, this is so I run two different stocks, one on the top, one on the bottom. But what I could do is I could have some of my charts without Heiken Ashi with the same stock, and then some with Heiken Ashi, so I can compare. And I was testing that this morning to see the difference. So, when you have multiple monitors, you could, if I wanted to, I could. Well, the problem is, oh, I could do. Hold on. So I could do this with Stevens color down here. Okay. But unless I switch the candles on all the charts, I can't separate that out. But you can have two different color sets on one, on a layout. So you could have, quote, Stevens layout alongside with your own layout open. Does that make sense? Oh, good, Joe. I'm glad you got that figured out. That's great. Good job. I'm glad you were able to reload your layout. Ron, does that make sense what I'm talking about? Yeah. So you could just, you can basically make Stevens layout by adding additional charts, changing the color, and then setting them to Heiken Ashi. You don't necessarily need that layout. You just need to pick which charts you want to do that to. But you can notice like right now, the 1 minute has curled over. This 1 minute is not quite caught up with it. See how it just curled over? And that's that's because of the whole Heiken Ashi is, it's smoothed out, and it does, with the clear lines, it does lag the clear lines a little bit. You'll even see the 3 minute, the 3 looks a little bit different. I kind of actually like the 3 minute better using Heiken Ashi because it does clear it up a little bit. It does smooth it out a little bit. All right, good stuff today. Any other questions? I'm probably going to cut short today. I've got an appointment. I have to be somewhere about 15 minutes after the top of the hour. If you've got a couple of real quick questions, I'd be happy to answer. Any other questions? You're welcome, Bruce. See you Monday. All right, guys. So I'm going to end it here. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you are interested in learning more about the clear lines indicator running on the Medved Trader platform, you can contact me directly, Kipp@equity-alerts.com, or call or text me. This session is a twice weekly, Tuesday, Thursday, 3 o'clock Eastern session. It is recorded, and the recording is posted at the Equity-Alerts YouTube page. You can go to equity-alerts.com, click the YouTube link. That'll take you to our page to watch the video again. And if you're interested in learning more about clear lines, you have the ability to sign up for them on the Equity-Alerts website. Just click on the Clear Lines tab. And again, thank you for tuning in today. Have a great weekend. Markets are closed tomorrow, so I won't see you guys, a lot of you guys, till Monday. And thank you for tuning in. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.